What is up guys, Tired here, and welcome to another character explained video featuring the main antagonist of Final Fantasy IV, Golbez. Before anything else, I would like to give a quick shout out to the creators of the DissidiaDB.com website and the Tonberry Troop from the DFFOO subreddit, as most of the information that I will be sharing with you guys came from them. So without further ado, let's proceed on checking out his kit. So Golbez is a mixed attacker that can deal both melee and magic attacks. His weapon type falls under others as he uses his dragons to attack enemies. He also has black crystal affinity for his crystal passives. His skill 1, Rising Wave, at base form is a dark melee brave attack plus dark magic brave plus HP attack that grants 1 stack of Shadow Dragon for 4 turns. This buff raises his max brave and attack based on the number of stacks he has. While Shadow Dragon is active, his brave attack turns into brave attack plus, which becomes a dark magic brave attack plus dark melee brave attack. While Shadow Dragon 2 is active, Rising Wave turns into Rising Wave Plus, which adds a Dark Melee Brave plus HP attack by the Shadow Dragon. While Shadow Dragon 3 is active, Rising Wave turns into Rising Wave Plus Plus, which increases the number of Brave hits to 2 for every attack. Equipping his Rising Wave Extend passive raises the skill's brave potency and gains an overflow of up to 120%. Golbez is also granted a medium max brave up buff for 8 turns. Equipping his 15 CP weapon passive gives the skill a raise in brave potency through all its variation. When using Rising Wave or Rising Wave Plus, it grants an additional stack of Shadow Dragon. His skill 2, Glare Hand, at base form is a dark AoE melee brave attack plus dark AoE magic brave plus HP attack that also grants 1 stack of Shadow Dragon buff for 4 turns. The HP attack damage is split equally amongst all enemies. While Shadow Dragon is active, his Brave attack turns into Brave attack plus, which becomes a Dark Magic Brave attack plus Dark Melee Brave attack. While Shadow Dragon 2 is active, Glare Hand turns into Glare Hand plus, which adds a Dark AoE Melee Brave plus HP attack by the Shadow Dragon. While Shadow Dragon 3 is active, Glare Hand turns into Glare Hand plus plus, which increases the number of brave hits to 2 for every attack. Giving him his Glare Hand Extend passive raises his own attacks on the skill's potency and grants him a medium attack up buff for 8 turns. The Shadow Dragon's attack's brave potency is raised when using Glare Hand Plus or Glare Hand Plus Plus. The brave potency of his Brave Attack Plus is raised as well. Giving him his 35 CP weapon passive gives the skill a raise in brave potency through all its variation. When using Glare Hand or Glare Hand Plus, grants an additional stack of Shadow Dragon. The brave damage of the skill is raised for single target enemies. Equipping him with Obsidian skills grants him the ability to cast his EX Twin Meteor, which is a 5-hit dark AoE magic Brave plus HP attack that inflicts Dark Resist down for 4 turns. After that, another 5-hit Dark AoE Magic Brave plus HP attack is triggered again. It has an overflow of up to 150% and grants Golbez 3 stacks of Shadow Dragon for 6 turns. HP damage dealt is split equally among all enemies, however, Brave damage dealt is raised when there is only one enemy on the field. Max limit breaking his EX weapon basically improves the EX ability by way of Brave damage, overflow limit, as well as recast speed. Realizing his EX weapon into EX Plus not only raises the stats provided by the weapon but also gains these effects. At 0-3, Twin Meteor's Brave potency is raised. The skill used after casting his EX now does not consume ability use. His HP attack turns into HP attack plus, which is now a 2-hit Dark Magic Brave plus HP attack plus Dark Melee Brave plus HP attack by the Shadow Dragon. At 1-3, Golbez's Max Brave is raised as well as his attack. At 2-3, Twin Meteor now grants him the Atonement for Hatred buff for 4 turns. This buff raises his Max Brave overflow limit and raises the Brave damage dealt when hitting target's weaknesses, and meaning more damage due to his Dark Imperil. Also, at the start of the quest, Golbez is granted 1 stack of Shadow Dragon and his EX gauge is filled to max. At 3-3, Twin Meteor is now executed 3 times with a tremendous raise in total Brave potency. Some notable passive. Golbez basically works well when buffed, as some of his passives raises his max Brave, attack, and speed while he's buffed. His level 50 Crystal Awakening raises his max Brave and attack while Shadow Dragon is active. His level 68 Crystal Passive raises his max Brave and attack by 20%. His AA ability grants him Dark Enchant for 2 turns, while equipping his AA Extend passive slightly raises his max Brave when using his AA. So, here are some final thoughts. Golbez hits hard, especially because his EX inflicts Dark Imperil, thus further boosting his damage. His longevity is also improved, as his EX now gives free skill usage after casting Twin Meteor. Brave leakage is not a problem to him, as his HP attacks mostly hits twice most of the time. For his downsides, he has a slow EX recharge, meaning if you are not careful with his skills, the Dark Imperil debuff might run out, making his damage slightly weaker. Also, being a pure DPS, he does not really bring anything to the party outside of his damage. Of course, pairing him up with support characters that provides attack and max Brave up auras would be ideal. Having him at 3-3 for ingots is obviously recommended, as he is a DPS type unit. As for artifacts, 3 attack plus 108 is recommended, and 3 2-star Lunarian Descent boost would be better, while max Brave plus 3-3 would be a great substitute. So there you have it, guys. May quick explanation or overview for Golbez. I do hope you were able to learn something about his kit with this video. If so, please leave a like and comment down below. Uh, as always guys, if there are misinformation that I said during the video, please do not hesitate on correcting me in the comment section down below, as it would be very helpful to people trying to build GOLBEZ up. With that said, I wish you good luck on your games, and I will see you on the next video.